Hello everyone. I was just feeling really cozy and I have PJs on and I just made tea in this new beautiful mug that I just bought, and I had this idea that I would talk about some warm, heartwarming, comforting, fuzzy, cozy books today and give you a ton of recommendations of different genres of books that just feel good, that will make your heart feel warm and you will just feel beautiful, because I love me a good hard-hitting story. There's a high chance that you love reading books that are really heavy and talk about important things and everything, and I love that. But sometimes we just want a break, sometimes we just want to relax and escape and just read a really beautiful story, and that's why I'm here today. This mug is too hot. Let's wait for that a bit. I have this big pile here, and then I have so many other books. So yeah, without any further ado, let's jump right into it. The things that I do at midnight. The first few books, a series I have here, is kind of the most obvious one, the one that screams comfort and cuteness and coziness and beautiful everything, is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I have all 3 of the published volumes, and oh my god, I have talked about these books before. I love these books so much. I think they are incredible. Those are graphic novels, and they're one of the first graphic novels I ever read. They kind of made me interested in the genre, and if you don't normally read comic books, I'm begging you to pick this up anyway, because it's a beautiful story. So it's about Nick and Charlie. Charlie is a gay boy, and Nick kind of starts to discover that he has feelings and he's not sure about his sexuality, and he realizes that he's bisexual. And the first book is just kind of them becoming friends and then maybe feeling like there could be more between them, and the second one is them being more like, oh, I'm kind of crushing on you, and then the third one is kind of them starting to be in a relationship, and Nick is kind of trying to come out to his friends and things like that. And these books actually do deal with some really important things, but at the same time they're just so warm and beautiful and heartwarming and infinitely cute, and these books just made me feel so amazing. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm begging you to read them if you haven't yet. The second book I have here is kind of different. Like I said, there's a bunch of different stuff in this video, so I think there will be something for everyone. And this is Art Matters by Neil Gaiman. So this is a nice, very short, I don't know if it's a picture book, whatever I should call it. It's just drawings, and it's more like quotes. It's not even a normal text. And this tiny book is super short, and it's just about how art matters, and I love this so much as an artist, but I just feel like even if you're not really an artist, this is just such a short book that is filled with just hope and love for art, and it's just so good, and I love it. And I read it in literally, I feel 10 minutes, so it's just beautiful and I love it. So definitely recommend this. Next book that I want to recommend, I don't have a physical copy of, but I'm going to show it on the screen as always, and also all the books that I'm mentioning in this video are going to be linked down below, so if you want to read more about them, add them to your TBR. The links are in the description box. So the next book is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. Even the cover is just so beautiful, and oh my god, I really wish I had a physical copy. It's so beautiful. So this book is about a teenage girl who is a mom. So she has a young daughter, so she's a teenage mom, and she has a passion for cooking. And so cooking is a really big part of the book, and she really focuses on kind of the power of food and how comforting it can be. And it's just a really hopeful, beautiful, real story that is just wonderful, and it perfectly fits the heartwarming, nice beautiful, feels like a hug type of a book, cause I don't know, like the food and like the family and everything, I don't know how to explain it, but the book is absolutely beautiful and I really recommend it. It has a bit of romance in it. It's not like the dominating part of it. It's mostly just about family and love for cooking and kind of following your passion and figuring out what you want to do with your life and things like that. I really love it. Yes. The next book that I knew I had to have in this video is Yes, No, Maybe So by Becky Albertalli and Aisha Saeed. I adore this book. It just came out last week, I think. I got it immediately and I am in love with it. I actually have a feeling with this book. I don't know if you get the feeling that it's just like I love it so much that I just want to protect it and like not tell anyone about it and I want to keep it all to myself. But it's just too good for me not to share it with you. I love it so fucking much. I don't know. This is a love story between a Jewish boy and a Muslim girl who kind of meet because their parents know each other and their parents kind of make them do canvassing, meaning going from door to door trying to convince people to vote for like the Democratic candidate in their district. And both of them are just, you know, kind of like, I don't know, like they're not really excited about it. They're just not like, wah. But then over time, they kind of grow their passion for like activism and also start to fall in love with each other. I adore this book, the way that their friendship developed and then it developed into something more. I just loved it. It felt so real and raw and beautiful, and it deals with politics, and so it kind of deals with some more important issues, like sad and like shitty things as well, but to me it's just like such a beacon of hope. It's such a hopeful, powerful, beautiful book, and I absolutely recommend it, and I'm gonna just try to fit it into any video that I can, and I love it so much. Please buy it, read it if you haven't yet. I am in love with it. It might even be like my favorite book I've ever read, and it's most certainly like one of my absolute favorites of all time. I adore it. The next book is very similar to this, actually. Well, like it's super different, but like yeah. So it is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. You have probably heard of this book, but if you haven't, it's kind of a romance between the first son of the United States and the Prince of England. So this book is obviously kind of about politics, or like it's not about politics, but it is obviously a big part of it because Alex's mom is the first female president of the United States. And obviously they're like, you know, obviously it's kind of political, and they fall in love, and this is actually new adult, and this one obviously has romance in it, and it is kind of like more steamy and explicit than normal YA books, but it's not as crazy as adult romance. So if you like are looking for some like smut, but you don't want anything like that's too much, then that would be great for that as well. I just adore this book. Like, I love it so much. And again, it deals with some important things, and obviously there's some shitty like homophobic crap going on in like the political sphere and like among the royal family and everything. But again, it just felt like this book was so hopeful and so beautiful, and I was like, I fucking wish this was real so bad, like so bad, and I love it so much. It's one of my definitely all-time favorite romances, along with this beautiful, precious book, and I just adore it. So please, please, please read these books. Oh my god. Okay. The next book that I want to recommend is Riven by Roan Parrish, and also In the Middle of Somewhere by Roan Parrish, but kind of anything by Roan Parrish. So she writes adult romance. Her books are very, like, they have a very specific vibe, and to me that vibe is kind of comforting. So a lot of her books deal with like mental health, and a lot of the main characters have depression or other kinds of mental illnesses. And in Riven, one of the two main characters has struggled with addiction, and in the middle of somewhere, I'm not sure. I read that book a long time ago, but that one is actually set in like a small town, and it has like a strong winter cold vibe, which feels super cozy and comforting as well. And I just feel like her books seem so real, and they have this calmness and quiet about them that I just love, and it fits perfectly in the whole comforting. I'm sorry if I keep repeating these words, like it's that. Yeah, I know I'm repeating these words so much, so I'm sorry about that. But I just really love her books. I think she writes beautifully, her characters feel real, and the relationship between them are really affectionate and romantic. I just really love her books. I mentioned Riven and In the Middle of Somewhere, but I also love Small Change, and I've read also the remaking of Corbin Whale and Invitation to the Blues. Yes. And to the topic of adult romance, the next one is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. Since Talia Hibbert is probably my favorite adult romance author, I wanted to mention it. And this book is about a sassy, chronically ill heroine and a cinnamon roll painter hero. And I just love their relationship. And again, this is adult romance, so it is steamy, but oh my god, I love it so much. I love Talia's writing. I love her characters. I feel like the dynamic between all the couples is just so good, and it's hot, but also like really deep, and like their relationships are really strong, and I just love her books so much. And if you like adult romance, I'm begging you to read Talia Hibbert because I feel like she doesn't get enough love. Please. Please. The next recommendation is also very different, so we're bringing another genre into this, and that is Shelby Eileen's poetry books. So the ones that I want to mention especially, Soft in the Middle and Poems I Sleep Next to. So Shelby's poetry is often, as poetry is, you know, about like heartbreak and sad things, pain, and things like that. But at the same time, especially those two books, I haven't read all of her books yet, but I just feel like they're so comforting as well, and they're hopeful even when they deal with some like bad things. And I just love their poetry so much, and Shelby is also a self-published poet, and I really want to support them. I just love their poetry so much, and it's beautiful, and I feel like Soft in the Middle and Poems I Sleep Next to, those two books just feel like a hug. You know, if you're hurting or if you're not, like they're just, even if you're not, it's just like, it just feels like a hug. And I feel like that's often the case with poetry, and it's just beautiful, and please read it. And yes, so since we're already on the topic of poetry, another poet that I want to recommend is Nikita Jill. I love her so much, and I actually have a physical book from her, but it's not the main one that I want to recommend, but I still wanted to show you. So this is Fierce Fairy Tales by Nikita Jill, and this is not my favorite because it's not only poems, but it's kind of also like short stories, and that's just not my favorite way of her storytelling because I just prefer the poems. I feel like they pack more of a punch and everything, but still this is a really nice read as well, and it could be comforting and really nice too because it's just basically feminist fairy tales and like reimaginings of fairy tales, and yeah. And her books are just so wonderful. My favorites are Your Soul is a River and Wild Embers. Both of them are just so beautifully written. They touched my heart so deeply. Every single poem spoke to me so much, and her poetry just feels like, you know, the feeling that like she's speaking to me. Like, it hits me so hard that I'm like, oh my god, like, how did you know? You know, and it's just such a powerful feeling, and her poems just feel so good. And like, I just seriously, I love it so much. Please read this as well. Oh my god. The next recommendation I have is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. So this is a nonfiction book that is just kind of about creativity and art and everything, and I just feel like that book is just so positive and is just such like a powerful, light, bright, beautiful book that, you know, speaks about amazing things and why art and creating is so wonderful. And I feel like it could speak to anyone, like especially people who are artists. But honestly, I feel like even if you don't really do that, it could still really speak to you and it could be a beautiful read. I really love it. She is actually the one who wrote Eat, Pray, and Love, but I haven't read any of her novels. You don't have to do that at all. It's not about her. It's just about creating, and I love it so much. So I kind of forgot that I made tea. I looked at the mug and I was like, oh, oopsie. The next recommendation is Lady's Guide to Celestial Mechanics by Olivia Waite. This is a historical romance book that has female-female romance in it. The main character is really interested in astronomy and she wants to translate this really popular like astronomy text, and it's just one of her biggest passions. And she also recently went through a breakup and she runs into this slightly older woman. There's like a slight age gap and she is a widow, and so they kind of actually like start living together. I don't remember why exactly. I just felt like their relationship is really soft and romantic, and since the love interest is a widow, there's not any pressure on her to get married, and so they don't have to face any like intense struggles of like them not being able to be together because of not only their gender but also that they're women and they should get married. So Lucy gets pressured into marriage a little bit, but there's not any like crazy struggle. So, you know, the next book is also very different from everything that I've talked about, and that is Strange Planet by Nathan W. Pyle. This is a short comic book with these absolutely wonderful, hilarious comics. So a quick side note. This is actually an account on Instagram. It's called Strange Planet. It's Nathan W. Pyle Strange Planet, I think. And it is one of my favorite things ever. So I was following that Instagram account actually almost since the beginning, and then it became this beautiful book. You don't actually have to read the book. Honestly, just like, you can of course read it, I love it so much, but you can just check out the Instagram because they're just short, funny, relatable comics, and I don't know how to explain it, just check it out, please. It is so funny, and literally he posts one like short comic every single day, and it makes me happy every day. It brings me so much joy, and I just want to share it with you because it makes me so happy. And just please check out the Instagram account. So the next book that I want to recommend is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang. This is another adult romance, and I don't know if it fully fits with the vibe. It didn't like scream like cozy and comforting and warm, but it is one of my all-time favorite adult romance, and it feels so good to read it, and it just makes me so happy, and that's why I thought I would just share it with you anyway. This book, the main character has Asperger's, and she just feels like she doesn't know how to date. She just feels like she struggles too much with relationships, and so she basically hires an escort to help her learn how to like kiss and date and everything. And if that premise sounds a little bit weird, I promise this book is just so good, and both of the main characters are just actually like so soft, and their relationship is just beautiful, and they're so accepting of each other, and they just love each other so much, and it is wonderful. It is steamy, but I don't remember it being like anything crazy when it comes to that. And I just love the book so much, and it is definitely one of my all-time favorite adult romance books, and I really recommend it. It is an amazing story. There's obviously some hardship in it and stuff, but it's mostly just so wonderful, and I love it so much. So the next book I have is another comic book, actually, and that is Bloom by Kevin Panetta and Savannah Guanicho. This is how it looks inside. It's really blue and super nice and pretty, and yes, I am actually going to be featuring this in a reading vlog in one of my video series. I have no idea when, but yeah, so I'm not going to talk about it for too long, but basically it's about, it's another story about two queer boys falling in love, and a big part of the book is also baking, which I feel like adds to like the warm feeling of it, and it's just, again, really soft, super warm, super nice, perfect for this whole video. My next recommendation is an author, and that is Tessa Dare. Tessa Dare is the first historical romance author that I've read books by, as in like historical romance books, and I just fell in love. I just loved the books so much. I haven't read all her books by any chance, like absolutely not. So my absolute favorite books by her are Romancing the Duke. That was the first one I read, which has a blind hero and a really stubborn, amazing, and fun heroine. And they just kind of, not gonna bore you with the details, but they start living in the same big, scary house. And the Duke is really grumpy, but he's sweet at the same time, and reading this book was so much fun. Like, literally, it's so lighthearted, and all of Tessa Dare's books feel that way. They're just really lighthearted and fun, and I read a few of these books when I was just not feeling the best, and they just made me feel so much better, and so that's why I really wanted to share them with you. So I read Romancing the Duke, and then I also read the Girl Meets Duke series. My favorite is The Governess Game, which is the second one, but all of them, I just love them so much. I loved the characters, and just like I said, the books are just so fun. The relationships are usually just really soft and fun, and it is steamy, but again, it's nothing like insane. And I just love the book so much, and I really recommend them if you have not read them yet. And the last book is also actually, well, I have a book here, but it is an author, and that is Rick Riordan. This is the fourth book in the Trials of Apollo series. That's the only one I have in a physical copy on me, but Rick Riordan's books, I wouldn't call them comforting and heartwarming, but they feel good. Reading them makes me feel just so happy, and they're so fun, and I feel like you just always just fly through them, and it's just such a fun time, and he just takes you on a really fun, amazing adventure with absolutely wonderful characters. My absolute favorite series is The Trials of Apollo, but Percy Jackson is wonderful, obviously, and then Heroes of Olympus is amazing. I have not read Kane of Chronicles yet, but I want to soon, and just his books are just absolutely wonderful. You probably know who he is. If you have not read his books, please do. He writes middle grade books, Greek mythology, so much fun, so hilarious. They feel absolutely wonderful, and that is it. I'm so sorry, this video is probably so long, but please tell me if you like it, if you want more videos like this, and give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Like, oh my god, I can't talk anymore. If you have any video requests, please tell me in the comments down below, and tell me what's your favorite cozy, comforting book that makes you feel good. And that's gonna be it. Subscribe for more videos like this, and yeah, have a great day, and I'm gonna see you soon in another video. Bye!